Hi everyone, so finally I'm back with another really lovely tutorial. I've created this card. It's a stack in teacups. I hope you can pick it up on camera. It's just so gorgeous. I have 1, 2, 3 teacups sitting on top of each other. Decorated it with flowers and all sparkly things. Now, this was inspired by a video I've seen years and years ago, and it was by Terry's Scrapbooks, and they created a canvas. It was like a multimedia canvas art using specialty dies or die cuts. I can't actually remember, but I didn't have any of that, so I used real basic dies that I have in my stash, and I will walk you through. And I think it's just turned out absolutely fantastic. Now, the good thing about this card is that if you want to make something like this, you can use anything in your own stash. I've used lots of sparkle and glittery stuff as I like to do it. This is my style, and I went with Chloe's Creative Crafts products, which I absolutely love lately. I added a bit of lace to fill out all the cups and all. But I think because it is so unique and you can decorate it to your liking using any dies, any decorations that you have, you can make it your own too. I used a lot of glitter, and I hope you can pick out on the background I decorated with these lovely sparkly butterflies, to which I used the Cosmic Shimmer Ultra Sparkle Texture Paste, which I ordered from Craft Stash, and it is so beautiful. I have already created the panel that I'm going to be using because this takes a while to dry. So it is this one here. The paper is from Chloe's Creative Cards paper pad, and I think this one was, yeah, the Beautiful Butterfly set, and it has this gorgeous detail and these oily kind of a butterflies on it already, giving a different kind of a shine. And to add these butterflies, I used the stencil that came with the collection, and I added some of these smaller ones in here, and then these little ones from the corner in a couple different places using the Ultra Shimmer Frosty Sparkle, it's called. I think it's absolutely stunning. To glitter up the edges, I used Chloe's glue pen, the chisel tip glue pen, and the glitter that I used was Crystallina. I think it's just that such a lovely sparkle, kind of ties in with all those little butterflies in there. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Now, the card I'm going to make is going to be exactly the same or near enough, as close as I can get it, only different color combinations. I'm gonna go with blues instead of the pinks, as you can see it in here. Now, the color scheme was very much inspired by these butterflies in the corner, the pink, the purple and the blue. And for this one I'm going to be going the purple, the blue and this golden yellow kind of a color. So to create the flowers I used vellum, even this green foliage, and this foliage in the background was stamped on acetate, and I will show you exactly what I used. So for the flowers, the one stamp that I used was from the Paper Craft Society box, and it was the smallest flower in here, and all the other flowers were from this set in here. It is the Grande Floral Butterfly, and it's so gorgeous, and it was all three I used, and also the foliage to add a little bit of a greenery to my card. This little foliage that I used stamped on acetate was used from the Dazzling Foliage set, and it was this gorgeous little one. This is my favorite from the set anyway. So for all my stamping I used the white super fine detail embossing powder, except on these back ones, this here, except the Dazzling Foliage one, to which I used from Wow the Sparkling Snow. To add a bit of a glitter on them, I just used Diamond Dazzler from Chloe's Sparklicious range, and just added little dots of a glue and sprinkled this over it. Let it dry before using it a bit. I have already prepared some, so the glitter won't be starting to fall off when I'm working with them. I think they are just so gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to start with the card base. I use just a simple 5x7 white card base. The next layer, this gorgeous blue foiled one, is again from this paper pad set, and this one I've cut down to 6 7/8 by 4 7/8. I'm going to glue it onto this here using the Collage glue. And the next panel that I already walked you through was cut down to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. But I also backed it up with another piece of cardstock, cut exactly the same size, just purely because this paper from the paper pad is quite thin. And once I added all that texture paste, it kind of warped the cardstock a bit. So this way it's nice and smooth again. And I can also add this on top of my first layer with Collage glue. And Collage glue takes a little bit of a while to dry, so I'm just going to set this aside while we are going to make our little teacups. This is the most exciting part of it. Okay, so to make the teacups, I don't have any specialty dies. The dies that I used was the scalloped ones from Creative Craft Products, which I got from Craft Stash a while ago, and I chose these scalloped dies, which measure, I think, about 6 inches in diameter, and I used just a simple circle die from Surprise Creations. Now this is a double stitch one, just because this is what I have in my stash, but you may have something else. So the size for this is about 2 3/4 of an inch from the cut line to cut line. I've put these together, lined it up in the middle, and ran it through the choice of my paper, which is this one in here from the paper pad from Chloe. And I think it is gorgeous. It's exactly the same I used in pink, only this one is in blue. The other one that I ran through was the foiled paper, same one as I used on the back grinder or the matte layer of the card. And for this one I used, no, it wasn't this one, it's this here, and this measures about, let's see, about 5 3/4 from cut line to cut line, same size as the scalloped edge one. And this is where I'm going to decorate it with this here. Now I didn't have any kind of a border like that with the scallop that I liked, so what I did, from the Paper Craft Society box, I took this die in here, I ran it through my die cutting machine, and then I got this here, went ahead and I cut off the edge with the scalloped edge in there, and that's what I used then to decorate my teacup. I think it's quite a lovely way, something different to stretch our supplies. Add a little bit of a curve, and then I will cut it to size later. So as for the size of the teacups, I was playing about with pieces of scraps to try to figure out what works for me best, and I went with this size, which the measurements I will give you in a wee minute. I decided to go with these half kind of cups, just like so, sticking out of the card. I think it was so cute, but of course you can go bigger, you can go smaller, or you can go a full cup and glue it to your card like so. you can also do that. I really like the idea of this. It's not something I've seen being done before, and I don't know, I think it just looks lovely, kind of coming out of the card like this. It looks really stunning. So the sizes that I used for my teacups are about 4 inches. And if you have the same scallops die as I do, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 scallops, and the last 2 I just fold in at a little triangle, just like that. Add a little curve into it, and it's ready to be glued onto the card. To do the next one, again, I'm going to take my template, put it up against my cardstock, and just cut down by that scallop and fold it against the other fold lines, just like so. And it's that easy. And I'm going to do exactly the same for the, I'm gonna go with this where there's more foiling on this. So I'm just going to cut it exactly to the same size as this one is. And fold it up again on the sides, creating those tabs that will allow me to glue it onto my card, just like so. And there's plenty left in these to create another card if I wanted to. Now, so to create these little saucers, which I added to all 3 teacups, I've just cut out these V circles using the same die set from Surprise Creations, and these measure 1.5, just a little bit over 1.5 inches. The way I'm going to stack my teacups, okay, so the way I'm going to stack my teacups, I'm going to use one of this pattern, one of this one, and this one will be on top. Now, I also created little handles for my teacups, just like so. I don't know if you can pick that up behind the flowers there, but I added contrasting, so to the white bit I added a blue handle, or the pink one, to the pink one a whiter handle, and again a pink handle to the top one. So to create those handles, I just took a piece of cardstock and I folded it in half, so both of the sides are patterned. There's a bit in here, so I added glue in the middle, glued it all together, and just cut it down to whatever width I wanted my handle to be, just like so. And this is what I'm going to use. The only thing is just to pay attention to that on the outside edge that shows. I'm not going to put where it's folded, so you can see that white edge. In here it's lovely and concealed. So for these little saucers, I'm just going to cut down, I think it was, yeah, a little bit above half, so it's not a full half circle. I went a little bit smaller, just like this. And I'm going to use this as my template. To cut down these saucers, or half saucers even. And now I'm just pretty much gonna go with this exact same kind of a design, so I'm just going to follow how I put those on. So this first cup will be sitting pretty much on the about 1/2 inch of the bottom of my card. Of course, by using bigger or smaller circle dies that you may have, you can make this card so much more bigger or smaller. I think these sizes work absolutely perfectly for a 5 by 7 inch card, because I'm just adding my glue onto these tabs. Kind of judging how far I want the cup to come out from the card. This here looks good enough, and I'm just going to take my bone folder and press down on those little tabs. just like so. Now to add the little saucer, all I did, I went ahead and just added a little bit of a glue on the edge of the bottom of this cup in here. I hope this picks up on camera. I can't really see what I'm doing because my camera is facing upwards towards the ceiling. And I also added a little bit of a glue just on this straight edge where I've cut the saucer. Like so. Using a pair of tweezers, I'm just butting it up against it. Just like so. Now there's a bit of a glue oozing out and showing, but this glue will dry nice and clear, so it's not going to be messy looking. So make sure if you're doing this, you're using glue that will dry nice and clear for you. Okay, so that's it. Now I'm gonna go on to my next one, which will be sitting out this way a bit. Okay, so here I added my scalloped edge lacy detail as well as the little saucers to all my teacups. Now I'm gonna go move on to the handles. So teacups, I'm going to be adding them onto the right hand side. On this more blue one, I'm going to add it to the left hand side. So I'm just paying attention where I'm adding the little fold, to which I will be adding my glue to attach it to the teacup, and this fold will be on the outside edge. So I'm just going to cut it to about here. Let's see if that's long enough. Hopefully. I'm going to take a little like a pokey tool, and on the bottom of it I'm just going to start rolling it backwards, just adding a little cute detail to the handle of my teacup. I really love this. Just like so, making sure there's a nice curve onto the handle itself. Just playing about with it until I'm quite happy. And let's see, I don't know if the camera shows, but this just looks absolutely perfect. So where I'm going to add my glue is onto the little tab on the top, and a little bit in here where it will be touching the teacup itself. So I'm just going to try to line it up kind of straight. Okay, so while this is drying, I'm just very quickly going to show you the flowers that I have already created. As I said, I have stamped and heat embossed with white embossing powder on vellum, and I added color using alcohol ink markers, and I colored them from the back side. Okay, so for this one I used, and these all are the tree blends from Spectrum Noir. So this one is the blue turquoise blend, and for all the leaves and foliage on this one I used the alpine green blend. For the smaller flowers I used the hydrangea blend, and for these ones in here is the gold yellow blend, and the color combination was really inspired by the paper itself, with the butterflies in the corner in here kind of matching those colors. For the larger ones, to which I used the Sparkling Snow embossing powder by Wow, and these are the stamps from the Papercraft Society box. The alcohol markers that I used are these light ice blue blend, and I think these are just such gorgeous color combinations. So this is what I'm going to use to decorate my cups with. And to fill out these teacups, more or less just to conceal those tabs, but really adds a lovely decoration to it, is this lace ribbon. I've had it in my stash. I'm not sure I got this from the range or ordered it online, I really don't know, but these are available anywhere. And I'm just using a piece, quite a big piece for the top one. For the bottom ones I'm not using as much. I'm just going to use, I really don't need to do this, but I find this easier this way. Just ruffle it up, and I'm going to add and I'm just going to use my needle and thread. Okay, so to decorate this knife further with the flowers, I'm going to follow this design again. I also stamped and heat embossed and colored in these little leaves that came with the stamp set that I showed earlier. So I'm just gonna go put this on high speed in here, and I'm going to come back to you in a minute. Okay, so that's it so far done. One thing I forgot to mention is just to show you that I made the flowers actually double layered. For these ones, on the top layer I've cut away the foliage. For the rest of them I just had two separate layers. So what I did in here, I just added a little bit of a pressure to the flowers, it makes them nicely cupped like so. Just a little bit of a pressure in the middle. Now I just use the palm of my hand, but you can use any kind of a sponge that you may have for flower forming. I do have one somewhere, but I didn't use it this time. Just added a bit of a glue onto the bottom of it and layered it up on top of the previous layer. And I just added this time exactly the same way the petals on the layer below her, and let it dry, and that's how I created my lovely cupped flowers. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so now one thing that I need to do is to add a little bit of a gemstones in the middle of each of the flowers, and I'm going to be using these two sets from Chloe's Creative Cards. One of them is, I think this is the festive set, the Christmassy one, and this one is the spring one. So I'm just going to see these gold ones I will be adding to the gold yellow ones, and for the blue ones to the blue flowers, and I think I can go with the purple and the turquoise ones for the teal ones. So I'm just gonna do that quickly. And this is it, the card very nearly is ready. On the pink one I added these little shiny butterflies, and these were from the Paper Craft Society box. It came with a little sequin set, but I didn't have any blue ones to match this card. So what I did, I cut out these teeny tiny butterflies. I hope you can kind of pick it up, and these ones were cut out of this holographic blue paper. I think it is gorgeous. I think this shows you the color just a little bit better than it did on the tiny butterfly, but it's lovely and shiny, and I think I'm going to add this. I was a bit concerned that they may be too dark, but I think with this paper and the shine of the silver, I think they just match perfectly. So I'm just and I think that's it. I think those complement just finish off the card just so really nicely. Now the only thing is the sentiment for the middle of the card. On this one in here I used "Hope lots of lovely surprises are coming your way to make your birthday a lovely day," and these gorgeous stamps in the corners, and I'm just going to show you. These are from the stamp set from the Paper Craft Society box, and it's these ones in here. Now I'm not going to add my sentiment for this one just yet because I'm not sure. I think this is going to be a thank you card that I need to make, but I'm just not entirely sure yet. So I'm just going to leave the sentiment off now, and I'm going to leave it in here. So I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, because I know I really loved making this. There's just so much shine and sparkle going on this, but of course you can change this about. I think it would look very sweet with pearls and more of a shabby chic look, a bit of distressing here and there. I think it would just look absolutely stunning as well. So if you liked today's tutorial, please give me the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet done so. I will be back soon with another lovely tutorial. Until then, bye!